Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Monday Night Travel. Tonight, we are putting on a happy hour here at Rick Steves Europe in celebration of the return of more than 100 of our European guides who are here for a tour guide summit. My name is Ben Green, and I'll be moderating this happy hour with several of our guides. Now, before we officially get started, I would like to give you an insider look, briefly, at what is happening this evening just a few feet from me. So let me share that with you now. I spoke as loudly as I could. Hopefully you can hear most of this. Such an exciting atmosphere.
Hello, Monday Night Travel. I'm joining you live from the Rick Steves Europe Travel Center, where we have more than 100 tour guides together with 100 staff members, together in a very special moment for the first time in several years. Our guides come from dozens of European countries. They lead on more than 45 itineraries. So you can get a sense of this atmosphere here this evening. It's a very special moment. Hi, Rich. This is Rich Earl. What tours do you lead, Rich?
My Way Spain and My Way Italy.
Yes, and Rich is a fantastic guide. One of, as I said, 100 here this evening.
Thanks, man.
Reporting from the Rick Steves Travel Center, over and out.
So that gives you a sense of what is going on. Just a short bit from me right now. It's a celebration. It's a very special happy hour. And our host, our happy hour host, is the one and only Rick Steves. Hi, Rick.
Hey, Ben, that looked like so much fun. I wish I could have been down there with you. I'm up here in my office. People normally see me at my home studio, but right now we're down at Rick Steves Europe headquarters. As you mentioned, 100 guides have flown in from all over Europe. And people are in a great mood because it's the first time since before COVID that we've actually gotten together. And I was just talking with the group this morning as we kicked things off. I think we've done this for 30 or 40 years, ever since we were just very, very beginning starting. And I'm so proud of our guides, and it is so important that we get everybody together so that we can compare notes and break from this huddle, being able to do the best tours possible. And we're kind of halfway through the season right now, aren't we?
We are, Rick. Yes, it's going very well, I think. And I'm so glad that we have 6 guides to share in this happy hour tonight. Isn't that right?
That's right. So we asked our guides to fly here and join us. A few of them are working right now, but this is a low ebb in our season. A lot of times in the spring and in the fall, we have 100 buses going at the same time. Right now, we got less than 20 buses going because it's the middle of the summer. It's very hot in a lot of Europe, and we'd rather kind of scoot it to the shoulder season. So we are here. We're going to invest a whole week of each other's time. Every morning, we're going to have general sessions. We're going to break out and do the itinerary planning, and we're going to debate all the ins and outs of the tours. And we want to break from this huddle and know that we're able to offer the very, very best tours to our travelers. So let's just get going right away. I would love to be down at the party, but right now we're partying with those of you who are tuning in on Monday Night Travel. And we've snared a bunch of guides that we'll see in rapid succession. We're going to go to Spain, we're going to go to Britain, Poland, Germany, France, and Turkey. And I think right now, I believe we're going to Spain. Is Federico here?
I brought the party to you, Rick.
Yeah.
Federico, come on in.
Federico. Hey, join us, Federico. How are you doing?
Very, very well. Amigo Ricardo.
So nice to see you. When did you fly in? How long have you been here?
We just came here yesterday, me and my friend.
Yesterday?
Just yesterday.
Fantastic. How's your year going as a tour guide? You're halfway through the season.
It's have been a wonderful season.
Yeah.
Wonderful season. Very busy and very happy to be busy. Absolutely.
What is new for travelers in Spain, would you say?
Wow. Several things in Spain. In Madrid, in my city, in Madrid, Rick, we have an amazing new museum, which is called the Gallery of the Royal Collections.
Oh, I've been waiting for that.
And that is located just in front of the palace.
Nice.
No crowds. And then you see the history of Spain in a really
Nice.
spectacular building.
Good. All right. Hey, well, we've got some slides that Federico has sent us, and we're going to talk about these. And I'm going to just get the slides up here, and we'll see what's going on. But Federico, we're going to talk about mountains beyond Madrid,
Yeah.
and tapos and churros, and cooking up some paella.
Fantastic.
So we've got just a few minutes because we've got Lorraine coming in for Britain in a moment.
All right.
But I'd love for you just to tell us what we're looking at and why this would be interesting if somebody's planning a trip to Spain.
Because this is something quite unknown, Rick. This is one of those places in northern Madrid. Madrid is a big city. People go there because of cultural reasons, and they don't really know that in the mountains of Madrid, which is just about 1 hour driving time, or even we have wonderful public transportation, good trains to go there, we find those lakes, we find those rivers. People go there swimming, enjoying
The
nature.
mountains of Madrid. I've never even conceived of
Yeah.
that. The mountains of
Well,
Madrid.
it's called actually Guadarrama Mountains. Is actually a Moorish name. You see,
Hey, there you are,
Guadarrama.
enjoying a little vacation.
Yeah, that,
And then,
enjoy.
okay, and whether you're in the mountains or anywhere else, we're going to be some eating while in Spain.
Eating tapas and aperitivos everywhere in Spain. That's the way to socialize. You see, the food is delicious, it's very inexpensive, and with a good glass of wine, it's just merely an excuse to meet friends.
You know, that's interesting. Food is social. In England, you
Yeah.
go to the pubs. In Greece, you have the meze. In Venice, you have the cicchetti. And in Spain, tapas.
Exactly, and that is true. It's just, I mean, good food, good weather, and friendly people.
Having people together. Now, I remember shooting this photograph. It's a vermouth bar in Barcelona, I believe. And different bars have different kind of personalities. Tell us about a vermouth bar, what we're seeing here.
Vermouth is actually an aperitivo. That is just the right drink to meet a friend before you actually eat, and get a glass of top vermouth in Madrid, in Barcelona, in many places in Spain, southern, northern Spain, wherever you go, you will find that place. You get aperitivo, vermouth, and a gilda, which is actually that stew with olives and peppers.
So that's just your warm-up. The meal is not coming yet. This is your little
This is
aperitivo.
exactly just the beginning of.
Stoke your appetite.
Yeah.
Wow. And I like in a lot of Spain, every region is represented.
Yeah.
And sometimes at a tapas bar, you actually pay by the toothpick, don't you? Can you tell us what's going on?
Oh,
here?
exactly, and that is well. In most of the cases, those waiters, they blindly trust you. They just give to you, keep that toothpick next to you, and finally you pay, counting how many actually toothpicks do you actually have.
So I remember being with you in a bar, and every few minutes somebody walks around with a plate full of new tapas.
Exactly.
And if you see something you like, what do you
That's
do?
the way to seduce you, and you will
Seduce.
obviously the temptation is out there, and you finally eat more than when you really should. Okay, but that is what it is.
And then, so we just grab what we like, we talk, and we have some
Yeah.
wine, and grab what we like, and talk, and at the end, there's a bunch of toothpicks on your plate.
Exactly, and then you pay just for that. Huh?
And
then
that's how we do that. And is that a particular region, or is that tapas from all over Spain?
it's all over Spain. I would say the tapas is something quite popular all over
But I
Spain.
mean the toothpick trick.
The toothpicks are of the Basque country. Come on, the Basque region in
Basques.
northern Spain,
Okay.
and that it became so popular that now you can find pincho places everywhere in Spain. But we really have to go to San Sebastian or Bilbao to enjoy that. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Oh,
this is something in America, we like to dunk our donuts in our
Yes.
hot chocolate, in our coffee or whatever. What do we have here?
we have those churros and that hot chocolate, the Spanish chocolate that is very dense, very rich. You see, and it's delicious. We say in the Spanish language, "Hey, I am an oso goloso." Oso goloso means I am a bear with a sweet tooth.
There you go. So you're going to find some, and the chocolate is almost like pudding.
It's like kind of pudding, exactly. Yeah. it
Very,
is.
very nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like this.
Wow, paella, which is many Americans and Canadians come to Spain and say, hey, what about Italian risotto? The Spanish paella goes crispy. Italian risotto is creamy, and the Spanish paella goes crispy.
If I'm in a bar,
Yeah.
a tapas bar,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they bring out the paella,
Yeah.
you know it's fresh. It's hot out of the oven. It's time to have a paella.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody goes for it right there. It's gone.
Yeah,
after a
it's
while.
gone, exactly. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I want to remind you that Gabe is in the question corner, and we've got some questions that Ben is going to feed us in a minute, and Federico will answer your questions about Spain. You wanted to talk about sangria.
Sangria is the best way one of the best ways to fight against heat in Spain in summertime. Refreshing, white or occasionally red and white wines with some fruits and a little bit of cinnamon and ice.
Okay, so and
that's it.
there's many different ways to
Yeah, there are different
mix
ways.
up your-
The most common one is with red wine and then fruits and cinnamon. But there are, depending the place of Spain where you are, they admit some, some varieties and some alternative ideas. But basically, it's a sangria everywhere.
I love it. I love it. Hey, Ben, do we have some questions from our listeners this evening?
Of course. I have some sangria right now, by the way. A great choice.
I wish I could say the same. I've got some red liquid, but it's not
Some red
sangria.
Salud. Salud.
Salud, amigo. Salud.
Salud. Any
All
questions?
right. Yes, Karen would like to know, Federico, how are churros made?
Well, it's basically flour, just fry with some flour and a little bit of sugar, all right? And the churros, by the way, are the thin ones, and the porras are the thicker ones.
Oh, because you see poros and churros on the menu.
Exactly, and then you choose. I mean, it's just the same food in a different size. But it's delicious, and we usually dip the churro, which is basic, as I tell you, maybe 100% flour, just flour, which is not so healthy, but it's delicious, into the hot chocolate, and then we eat like this. And it's everywhere in Spain. In Madrid, in my city, we have the churreria, chocolateria, which is supposed to be the best one in Spain and quite popular.
And it's you see it in breakfast time,
Yeah,
and you also see it after a late night of dancing.
Ah, amigo, yes, because sometimes, in the late night, you see people are like, I need something sweet and hot. Come on, let's go to chocolateria. They are open until quite late.
Beautiful. Another question, Ben.
Yes, I have one more, Federico, from George. What is your favorite Rick Steve Spain tour and why?
Opa, my friend, that is, what can I say here? I mean,
What tours do you do, first of all?
I mostly guide the one of Madrid and Barcelona, because I love big cities with architecture, historical legacy, museums, art galleries, and taking the high-speed train between both cities that is so feasible, so practical. So in my opinion, you see, the one of Madrid and Barcelona, the two main cities, that's my favorite. But then we also have many other choices. I love northern Spain. I love the Basque Country. It's a wonderful place for foodie people. Or I love southern Spain, where people are so friendly and nice weather all year around. I mean, there are many choices. I am a city man, and I just go for Madrid and Barcelona. Yeah.
That's where I always see you, is in Madrid or Barcelona, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Federico, thank you. Get back down to the party because we're going next. Where are we going? Lorraine's coming in from...
Gracias, amigos de España. Chao.
Hola, ciao. Thank you. All right. Say, Lorraine, how are you?
I'm pretty good actually, because there's a party going on. So
There's a party going on downstairs, and we've kidnapped you away from the party. And tell us where you guide.
I guide in England and Wales, and next year I'm going to do Scotland as well, because I know quite a bit about Scotland. And
Oh, that's great.
so yeah.
Now we're halfway through the season now, and all the guides have gathered. Are some of your colleagues from England here? I know they are. Who
Yes.
else here?
Well, Deborah's here,
Yeah,
and Liz Boardman's here,
yeah,
and Jeannie's on her way,
yeah.
and I think that's about it.
Okay, and then we've got some Scottish guides too. So it's so good to have you here, and you're halfway through the season. We're having our summer lull time now, and then we're going to hit it again with all hands on deck in the fall.
I know.
How has the year been so far?
Manic. No, I didn't. I didn't mean manic.
Manic.
It's been great.
Yeah, good.
It's been great because there's so much going on all the time.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
it's an exciting time to be traveling wherever, but in Britain, it's very popular these days.
I know. Yes. So we've got a lot of folks coming at the moment.
I was just in London, and I just love London. It was so good. Hey, you gave us some slides here,
did I?
and I'm gonna just
I can't remember what I said.
let's see what we got here. We're gonna talk about the Isle of Scilly, is it
Silly,
called?
yes.
And clotted cream and self-drive barging. So
Yes.
let's tell us a little bit about this.
The Isles of Scilly. You can't call them the Scilly Isles because the people who live there don't like that.
I don't like that. Okay.
No, it's got to be the Isles of Scilly. They're about 28 miles off the southwest coast of Cornwall.
Okay.
And so they're quite remote.
So it's really off at the southwest tip of England.
It is,
Yeah.
but they are the sunniest place in Britain.
I bet. So
And as you can see, they have turquoise seas. I didn't send you one of white sands, but they've got these wonderful flowers. It's kind of a semi-tropical area. And because they're quite difficult to get to,
yeah.
it's kind of a bit off the beaten track.
Yeah, I've never been there.
Oh, well, oh God, you should go, because
Yeah.
there are lots of ways of getting there.
Right.
You can go by boat from Penzance in Cornwall.
Right.
That I don't advise that.
Okay.
Because the Isles of Scilly, they're surrounded by quite shallow water.
Right.
So the boat has to have a fairly flat bottom.
Oh.
And the Atlantic coming up through the English Channel there gets a bit sort of
Okay.
lumpy.
So you'll feel pretty silly on that boat.
Yeah, you would. But you can get a
But
helicopter.
you can
or-
helicopter there.
Or you can fly in one of those little twin engine
And
things.
the vegetation must be very
Look at
nice
those,
there.
look at those flowers, yeah.
And we were going to talk about clotted cream.
Clotted cream. Oh, yeah. Because you said to me, think about food in
Yes.
your country.
Right.
And I mean, there's lots of
And when I go to Cornwall, I think of clotted cream.
clotted
I think,
cream.
yeah.
Clotted cream in Cornwall, definitely. I mean, there's lots of regional stuff.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
cakes and buns and pies and things. But when I think of what I like the best, it's clotted cream. Because you don't just have to have it with scones and jam.
Really?
You
Okay.
can have it with all sorts of desserts. You can have it with treacle tart. Do you know?
I love how English people get so excited about your
Food.
wonderful desserts, especially. Yeah.
Well, I get excited about
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Treacle tart. Yeah. Have you heard of treacle tart?
No, I haven't heard of treacle tart.
Right. We have something called golden syrup. You've got maple syrup. We've got
Okay.
golden syrup, which is a byproduct of the sugar refining process.
Yeah.
And it's this thick golden syrup.
Yeah.
And you can make it with breadcrumbs into like a tart.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have it with clotted cream, it's delicious.
Nice, nice. Tell us about what we're looking at here, because
you're
that's
looking
what
at-
I think of when I think of clotted
That's
cream.
that's a cream tea, cup of tea, scone, jam, preferably strawberry, and clotted cream.
Oh, beautiful.
And there's there's the big argument between Cornwall and Devon, which should go first, the cream or the jam.
Yeah.
But,
What's the answer?
well, the jam should go first because that way you can pile more cream on the top.
I got it. Okay.
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 That photo was actually taken in the Isles of Scilly.
Oh man, that's a nice, nice little break there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Now you were also going to talk about some barging in England.
I was, yeah. Because when you think of hands-on experiences in the UK, there's lots of them, obvs, but barging, get a narrowboat. You can hire a narrowboat.
Now these are old. England has all these canals from the industrial age, right?
Yes, late 18th century,
Yeah.
canals
Late
were
1700s. Now, why did they dig those? That's quite a big investment to dig all those canals.
because of the Industrial Revolution,
Yeah.
just to move goods
To
more
move goods
quickly
before
around
the
country.
trains came.
The trains killed the canals.
The trains killed the canals. So there was a little window of time when canals were the way to ship your
Yeah,
goods.
and it wasn't very long, just a few decades, and they were shipped in narrowboats like that.
So these canals survived, but now they're kind of part of
Well,
recreation, aren't they?
Not all of them survived. We've only got 2,000 miles of navigable canals left.
2,000 miles. That's a lot of
I
canals.
suppose it is really when you
Yeah.
think. But there used to be a lot more.
But the point is,
Yes.
today it has
Yes.
towpaths, it has these longboats. It's an industrial age kind of turned into recreation and appreciating nature. And being
They
on
are
vacation.
used for recreation. They're great nature corridors,
Oh, yes.
particularly through cities.
Beautiful.
And it's very easy to drive a narrowboat.
You can't turn it around, probably.
Well, there are turning around places,
Yeah.
but you can learn how to drive them quite
So you
quickly.
can have a little vacation. You could book one of these boats.
Yes, it's a bit like a caravan, really, but it's on
yeah.
the water.
So, and talk about a nice way to relax.
Yeah.
Look at that. I love walking on towpaths too. Now they call them a towpath. Why?
Because before they had engines in these things.
Excuse me. Isn't it nice how when you have a good guide, you can pop any question on them and they know, right? That's great. So you have a towpath.
Just watch this space. You never know.
Yeah.
Horses used to pull them along, and that's why they're called towpaths, because the horses towed them
In the
along.
1700s.
In the late 1700s, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And today you can go on a towpath with a bicycle or you can take a hike, and it's
Or
just
hike.
a beautiful.
And of course, the beauty is they're flat.
yeah.
No hills involved.
Well, that's probably by definition almost. If it's a canal, it's going to be flat.
Well, it is, although they do have locks, because
Yeah.
they do
Oh,
go
okay.
up and
Yeah.
down, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to take your boat.
People don't
through a lock.
realize that, Lorraine. You could go from all the way across England on a canal. You can step up the locks and then go over the island, the continental divide or whatever, and then
Yes,
step down.
yes, you can. You can go all the way from London up to the Scottish border on a canal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. Hey, we've got some questions. Ben, do we have any questions for Lorraine? I assume we've got some questions.
More than a few, so I had to be picky, but I think I have some fun ones. Ashley would like to know, Lorraine, how do you find a good pub in the UK?
How do you find a good pub? You look for how many cars are on the car park. If there's lots of cars on the car park, yes. You ask the locals, which is the best pub around. Always ask the locals because they'll know. Whichever pub really has got the most people in it, I would say.
That would be the one that has the energy.
Yes.
And Bobby has a reputation for good food or good beer.
Yes, both really.
Both, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Because now there used to be, I remember in the old days, it was spit and sawdust pubs and pub grub. Nothing fancy on the food. But now you have some very good quality kitchens in the pubs.
In order to survive, pubs have had to become restaurants as well, I suppose.
Is
if
that
you
it?
like.
Yeah. Because
yeah.
they're gastropubs. You hear this word gastropubs a lot. And if you're going to Bath or York or any town that has, well, anywhere in England, I'm sure,
Yeah.
you have certain pubs that are known for their food. And in that case, you better have a reservation.
Yes, these days it is important to make sure you've got a reservation. We are still losing pubs. We're still losing pubs at the rate of one a week, I think.
I've noticed that. It's just there's fewer pubs over there. And oh well, there's a lot of pub culture. Do we have another question? I could talk all day about pubs with Lorraine, but I want to get some more questions.
Well, I was drooling over the clotted cream, so I'm going to ask John's question. Lorraine, do you put your cream on your scone before the jam?
No.
The other way. Okay.
Come on.
No. Jam first, and then you can pile loads of cream on the top. Because if you put the cream on first, you can't get so much cream on, really.
I've got a solution that I think is really unique in the English. I don't think I've caught on.
Go on then.
I like to slice my scone really thin, and like slices of bread. And then that's more surface, so I can put more jam and more clotted cream.
That's weird. That's just weird, I'm afraid.
Very practical if you like clotted cream.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay, we have one from...
One more question. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we have one more question. Lorraine, do you need any prior barging experience to
No,
be able to render?
No.
Good.
If you hire a barge, they'll give you 90 seconds instruction, and away you go.
And
Yes.
you're on your way.
Yeah.
Fun. Because it's like bowling with the bumpers in the gutters. You can't mess up.
Not really, no.
Hey, Lorraine, thanks. Get back down to the party. And we've got more to talk about here. We're going to go to Poland with Tomasz.
Cheers.
Thanks,
guys.
Lorraine. Yeah.
Thanks, Lisa.
Come on in, Tomasz.
Tomasz,
good
how
to
are
meet
you?
you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for having us.
Where were we last time I saw you?
It was in Krakow, and we were making pierogi together. As far as
I
remember.
had the lovely experience of going into Tomasz's kitchen, and making pierogi.
Pierogi,
And then we ate it together in your
Yes.
backyard, and I was very impressed.
And you promised me you'll be making them every Friday.
Every Friday.
You do.
Oh yeah, right. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing just great.
What's going on downstairs?
It's so much fun. We just played the corn game.
Oh, cornhole, yeah.
Cornhole game.
Right,
yes. And it's a new thing.
This is the first time we've had the guides over in the summer. For decades, we've been having them over in January when it's nobody's working.
January is a little bit different.
But it's a
so-
little different here in the summertime.
So it's a nice work, but we also feel like a little bit like a vacation.
Now,
so-
we are so excited here at Rick Steves Europe because we have the Poland tour, which is new in our program. And we really are doing well with the Polish program to a great extent because of our guides. It's a great country to travel in, and the guides. Do we have some Polish guides with you downstairs?
Yes, there's
Who else
actually
here?
3 of us.
Yeah.
There's Agnieszka from
Agnieszka,
Gdańsk.
yeah.
She's also doing the Poland tour. And we have
Yeah.
Beata.
Beata, right.
Yes.
And
she's
Tomasz.
And me.
And together, Tomasz was our key man. We made a TV show. It's a 1-hour special. It'll be airing all over the United States in a few months, and I'm so thankful. Hey, Tomasz, we've got some slides that you sent us, and we'd love to check them out. So I think, let's see here. We've got, we're going to be talking about the Carpathian Mountains, about Polish donuts, and the pierogi class. So tell us about how does this have to do with mountains?
Okay, so this is so-called oscypek. So it's a smoked sheep milk cheese, traditionally produced in the mountains by the
Okay.
mountaineers. It is smoked, it's salty, it's a natural preserve, and it was done according to the same recipe for over 500 years. Nothing has changed. It's one of our local specialties.
Oh, and with a good guide, you know what to eat and why.
And you can get those only on the market. They are actually made in the small huts, like you
Yeah.
see on a slide, like wooden huts. And the shepherds, they make the cheese
Imagine
there. So this
that.
is like handmade.
Now, where are we now? This is the Carpathian
So
Mountains?
this is the Carpathian range. They are just off Krakow, and
near Krakow. How long of a drive from Krakow?
So once you leave Krakow, you're in the mountains. So literally 15 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
And this is a photo that shows you like how the cheese can have different shapes because there's actually the molds. So the cheese is put into a mold, and depending on the shape, you have different shapes and sizes.
Now, there's a lot of this traditional agriculture going on, and
It's still
lifestyles.
very much popular. Actually, this cheese was placed on this both Polish and European Union list of local snacks, and it cannot be produced outside of
So
an
it's
area.
protected.
It's protected. It's like
This
Prosecco,
is
it's like
good.
champagne.
And those better be protected, or they're going to be all eaten.
This is another like national treasure, pączki. as we say,
Because we put that in our
pączki.
TV show in Warsaw.
Yes, so pączki is like donut, but is without a hole, and the traditional ones are filled with wild rose marmalade.
Oh, that is great. And I can look at that and I can just taste it right now. It was so good, and these people are enjoying that. Where are they?
We actually organize special competitions for the best pączki in town.
Yeah?
And we have them, of course, throughout the whole year, but especially on so-called Fat Thursday. So this is the last Thursday before the Lent begins.
Okay.
And you have them everywhere, in the offices, at school. Like it's eating
Pączki
10 of them
time.
is like a
Pączki
minimum.
time.
Minimum.
Pączki time. Well, look at that.
So that's what we do.
I
of
bet you
course.
make your groups happy with that.
And we always choose the place that has won the previous year competition. So we choose the best pączki
Well,
in
we're that
town
way with
actually for
we know
our
our
tour members.
We know our donuts that way here, so it's a similar thing. Yeah. Okay, now tell us what's going on here, Tomasz.
Okay, so when you ask like 100,000 Poles what is the most traditional Polish dish, you get 100,000 answers, pierogi. So actually this is one of our hands-on experiences of pierogi making, and we do it from scratch. We take our guests to the market, to do the shopping, then we do everything. Nothing is prepared from the scratch, including the dough and the filling. So.
And I
the
was right
effect.
there making it with the camera rolling. It was so great. And you told me to pinch, pinch, pinch.
Yes. So this is pinching also can take different forms, as you can see. Some of them, because they are delicious, but they can also be beautiful at the same time. So you can
yes.
kind of decorate them with different type of pinching, and then of course enjoy them.
Yeah. So this is an experience everybody has on our Poland tours.
Yes, this is one of the, for plenty of people, it's a highlight.
I think so.
Because
I
it's
can
the
imagine.
most intimate experience you can get, because we actually invite our guests into our private homes.
It's
So it's
great.
not some
You know,
restaurant.
other tour
it's-
companies can't really do that, but we have guides that actually open their houses up, and I'm very thankful for that. Hey, Ben, I bet we have some questions for Tomasz from our audience. And
Yes.
as we do that, I'm going to, you can ask Tomasz the questions. I'm going to get, we're going to have a progressive problem with our light here. I'm going to figure that out. But please give Tomasz a few questions.
Hi, Tomasz.
Hi, Ben. Great to see you.
Good to see you. The first question is from Sean, who would like to know, this is a loaded question, what is the best pierogi filling?
Well, best pierogi filling, it's a very tough question because it's a very personal question. I can tell you what is my favorite pierogi filling. It is the most traditional one, meaning cheese, potato, and fried onion. We call them ruskie, but you have to know that we also have our pierogi in the sweet version, and my favorite sweet version pierogi is the blueberry. The wild blueberry that you can only pick in the forest, and they are actually served with cream and sugar on the top. And this is our delicacy for the summertime only. It's a very seasonal dish, but those will be two of my favorites.
I agree with you. Blueberry is my favorite as well, actually.
See?
Another question from Jean. What is the second city of Poland? Is it Krakow?
Second largest, you mean?
Well, Rick has this terminology, second city, and it refers to sort of a popular city that we should visit that is maybe not the first place everyone goes to.
So Krakow is definitely the most visited city, but if you think of a second city, I would say Toruń, which is this very much not on the tour of other companies' itineraries. It's like a Gothic pearl, one of the very few cities that survived practically intact through those difficult times of the wars. Toruń is one of my favorite. It's a small town, but beautiful.
Yes, and we stay there for one night on the Poland tour.
Yes, on our tours, we stay there for one night. So we do some experiences there. We also have another hands-on experience there. we make gingerbread with our own hands.
Incredible, incredible. Okay, another question from Alejandro. What are interesting places to visit beyond Poland's cities for those interested in rural areas? Do you have any suggestions?
So practically most of Poland is rural area, and most of the Poles live actually outside of the bigger cities, so it's not a big challenge. But I especially enjoy two parts. One are the mountains that were already mentioned, and this is where you can find a lot of wild areas, forest, and a lot of outdoor activities. And another part would be the northeastern part of Poland with those big lakes. We call it Mazurian lakes, and amazing nature, amazing landscape, and those would be like two of my favorite.
I love it. All right. Hey, Tomasz, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for breaking away from the party.
I'm going back.
I'll see you down there in a little while.
See you a while.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thanks
Thank
for
you.
helping us with our TV show.
Thank you.
Let's see. Daniela, how are
Hi,
you?
Rick.
Lisa, we've still got some light problems. They're on Daniela now. Can you go over there, Lisa? And I wanted to see where the light is coming from. We're not used to sunshine in Seattle. How are you doing?
Good, very
Wow,
well.
it's so
Thank
nice
you.
to see you.
It's beautiful being here in summer.
And you flew in. Where do you live again?
Well, I live between Germany, Avignon, and Toronto.
Okay, because this is the thing in Europe. People live in different places.
Yes,
So
yes.
but you're in my mind, you're German.
Yes, I am born in Munich.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
so-
Munich.
And where do you do tours?
I do tours, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, of course.
Yeah.
Loving it. Germany tours, France tours,
Oh,
Italy, and the Europe 21-day tour still.
And we're halfway through the season. How's the
Yes.
season going so far in
Beautiful.
2024?
Good. I really
That's
loved
nice.
it. It was very nice. I worked a
Everybody.
lot. In Germany on the Germany tour between Hamburg all the way down to Munich, up to Berlin.
I was just in Hamburg. It's an amazing city, and there's no Americans there.
No, true. There are not very many.
They're all in
That's
Munich.
true. Yeah, they're all in Munich and Neuschwanstein.
Oh, that's where the Americans are. So
yes.
You know, the two most visited sites in Germany, I believe, are Neuschwanstein and a little place or a big place in the warehouse quarter in Hamburg, miniature.
The miniature land.
Miniature land.
And I have to say, I visited it.
Yeah.
I'm not a miniature land fan per se
Right.
normally, but I thought I have to go, and it's great.
I did the same
It's
thing.
great. It's great.
I did the same thing. And thank you guys. We're just getting our light figured out. And Gabe, you know where it is. It's right there in that corner.
Duct taping it.
All right, we're figuring this out. There you go. That's good. I want to talk about Miniature World.
Miniature World is great. I enjoyed it.
I love it. It's
an
like a
afternoon-
Legoland fantasy. You travel around the world with these little tiny minuscule
do.
creations.
And you go from these big tables, table to table, and you really can immerse yourself. They're so real. I was surprised.
Yeah,
It was
and
very
the sun
beautiful.
goes up and the sun goes
Yes,
down
yes.
on everything. It's just great.
Yeah.
It's very popular.
Very,
very
yeah.
popular. Hey, all right. Well, Daniela has given us some slides to share, and we're going to let Danielle take us on a little tour here.
Oh, yes.
And I'm really excited to hear about Freiburg, about potato salad versed in bread, and the Schilthorn Thrill Walk with Daniela. And this is, here's Freiburg.
Well,
Tell us
here
about
we
this
are.
place.
So Freiburg is a place, I would call it still a backdoor in some
Yeah.
in Munich, southwestern part of Germany, in Baden-Württemberg.
This is in the Black Forest, right?
Yes, so here we are on the southern side of the Black Forest, so Baden-Baden in the north, in the south we have Freiburg. So 10 kilometers, well, 5 miles away from France.
Yes,
And
it's on
only
the border
50,
of France.
yeah, and 25 miles away from Switzerland. So very close to Basel.
Yeah. So you in that area, you could have breakfast in France, lunch in Switzerland, and dinner in Germany very
Absolutely,
easily.
yeah,
Very
absolutely,
easily.
you could. And it's so what we see in the back there. Yeah, there you have already is like the foothills of the Black Forest.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of vineyards there because we grow beautiful wine there in the Baden
Nice.
region.
Freiburg.
Freiburg, yeah.
Freiburg,
Like
all right.
Hamburg, like
Yeah.
we just said, Berg.
Berg, yeah.
Freiburg, free
Yeah.
castle.
Free castle. What do we have here?
And there we are in the inner center, in the historical center of Freiburg, and we have the Martin's Gate.
Freiburg is famous for the little streams that trickle through the town.
Yes, the Bächler.
Bächler.
So little streams, they come from the Dreisam. There is a small river called Dreisam, and since medieval times, since this was built also 1500s, what we just look at, we have these little riverlets or little streams running through.
Practical reason in the Middle Ages?
Yeah, cleaning the city.
Running water.
Actually. Yes,
Running
running
water in the Middle
cleaning
Ages.
everything out.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh, baby, what do we have here?
Well, a dream.
Yeah.
Potato salad, Wienerle. We call these sausages Wienerle, others call them Frankfurter.
Yeah.
Then Hofbräuhaus, a Mass, 1 liter of beer, Bierstein, we call it a Mass in Munich.
Yeah.
And the wonderful mustard that you see, the Händelmeier mustard. It's sweet mustard that we like in Bavaria a lot.
I don't know a lot of words, but I know Süß and Scharf
Yes.
and Mittelscharf.
Mittelscharf.
Yeah.
You know your mustard.
I know my
Your
mustard.
Senf
I'm
vocabulary.
surprised at you. I'm famous for my bad language, but Senf, when you're in Germany, you got to be good.
You
with
better
it.
know your Senf.
Yeah, when you're in Germany, you got to know your mustard. And for the basic questions, do you want it sweet or sharp?
Or Scharf.
Or
Yeah.
Mittelsharp?
Yes, exactly.
How do you like it?
Well, with pretzel, for example, I like it süß.
Süß,
With
okay.
pretzel, a nice baked pretzel, you dip it in your sweet mustard, like
that's
Auntie
nice.
Annie does, but she puts the mustard in the pretzel. We dip it just in the pretzel.
You know Annie's?
I know Auntie Annie's. Yes.
So a German comes to the United States, and at the airport you see a
Auntie Annie's,
Auntie Annie's
and I try
pretzels.
it.
What do you
And
think about Auntie Annie's
I
pretzels?
do understand where the inspiration comes from.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that.
Okay, that's a very polite way to do it. You know, in the United States, you go out to the edge of town and you got a place that would be your hamburger shop and so on. I remember when I was on the edge of town, in the old medieval quarters of these towns that the tourists normally go to, you don't often see these kind of places. But out in the suburbs, in the modern part of town where there's no half-timbered buildings and so on,
yeah.
you have these drive-in fast food places, and they're pretzel places. And
Yes.
they serve all the different kinds of pretzels with toppings, and it's a fast food lunch or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It's pretty popular in Germany. Ooh,
Oh,
look at this.
talking about our carbs. We love carbs.
Yeah, I love bread in Germany. When I go to Germany,
Yes.
I'm thinking bread time.
Yes, and this is a beautiful rye bread, and well, that's a big loaf, Leib
Nice.
as we call it. But yeah, nice crusty on the outside,
Beautiful.
and you can buy it half or quarter. You don't have to buy the whole thing, which is nice too.
You know what? Breakfast is a time to enjoy the breads in Germany, I think. in a
Yes,
good
it
restaurant.
is. It is.
Okay, now we're at the Schildtorn. I know
Well,
this place.
after good breakfast, we go to the thrill walk. Oh my God, yes, and it is a thrill, beautiful. Yeah, here we are in the Lauterbrunnen Valley at the Schildhorn, and just one stop below, so Birk. So this is halfway up or
So
three
we
quarters
are
up.
in the Lauterbrunnen Valley. This is near Interlaken,
Yeah.
in the part of Switzerland called the Berner Oberland.
Yeah.
It's famous for the Jungfrau and the Schildtorn.
Yeah.
And we like to stay in the valley, and then we take the lift up to 10,000 feet for a revolving restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Top of
James
the
Bond
Schildtorn.
one.
James Bond, yep. And then halfway down, isn't this Berg here?
That's Berg, yeah.
Berg, yeah. So in Switzerland, they're charging more and more and more for the lifts, and they're giving you value-added extras like this, right? So you're going to pay for them anyways. You might as well enjoy
Yes,
them.
and then you can, yes, so exactly, so you
Look at
can,
that.
and this is not, it's not Photoshop, no? So you really crawl through, you don't have to,
Yeah,
but you
right.
crawl through, and underneath you is just air and
That
birds.
is quite a thrill.
It's a thrill.
Did your group do it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, not everyone,
Not everyone,
but
it's
a
an
lot, a lot.
option.
Yes.
All
yes.
right.
We took our time for that.
Hey,
Absolutely.
this is so fun to have you here, Danielle, and to share some angles on the countries that you know and love well. Ben, do we have any
pleasure.
questions for Danielle?
Yes, regarding that thrilling thrill walk, if you have a fear of heights, Daniela, can you still do it, or is it really too much of a thrill for some people?
Well, you have a good chance to actually stand on top. It's a lift station. You stand there and you can look, you see it, and then you can still decide if you want to do it. As a quick answer, I would say, well, if you're afraid of heights, I mean, you are actually really thrillingly above. It's a step in the void, kind of. But you can decide, and you can also go down, and then you can come back. So it's not that you have to finish it. So if you decide you don't want to do it, then you can come back. It's worthwhile getting off the cable car in Birk and look at it, and then decide. And then it's the beautiful views in any case. So it's worthwhile.
Stunning. Could you, Daniela, give us a few tips regarding beer garden etiquette. Is there anything we should know about how to properly experience a beer garden?
All right. Yeah, beer garden. We have them all over Germany, I would say by now, but they're mostly, you find them in Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, in the southern part of Germany. Actually, you find them a lot. Also Baden-Württemberg, Freiburg, where we talked about. But etiquette, yes. To make it short, if you see if you see that there are tables with tablecloths or with silverware on, and you see tables where there's nothing on, then you know already that there where there's nothing on, you can bring in food. And where there's silverware on, there will be service. So there will be food served to you.
Okay, so if you buy a beer, you can bring your picnic and enjoy all.
Exactly. There where there's, and you can always ask also. There's
Nice.
somebody there. You can ask, is it okay? You always have to buy a beer. You have to buy a drink,
Sure.
but then you can often, in a lot of places, you can actually bring in your food, and that's what we did. For example, when I was little with my parents. So my mom packed our basket
love that.
full
That's
with
so good.
Wurstsalat,
Yeah,
sausage
yeah.
salad, and potato salad, and things like that. And then we would go there, and they would buy a beer, and that's where
good.
little children
And you
grow
bring
up.
you bring the kids.
Yes, you bring
into
the
the beer
kids, and
hall.
there's playground, and you can run around. You're outside, so that's great.
We had an Oktoberfest here in Edmonds, and no kids and no dogs, and I couldn't believe it. It was just the same.
That's different.
It's different. It's different in Germany.
That's
Bring the
different.
kids, bring the
Bring the
dogs.
kids,
We're all
the dogs.
together. Danielle, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
and
for having me.
Say hello to people down at the party. I'll be down there in a little
Well,
while.
thank you.
Okay?
Chin chin Prost.
Prost,
Thank you.
Prost,
Prost,
thank you.
everyone.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Yep. Bonjour, Gregoire. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, how's the party downstairs?
Oh, it's pretty fun. It's pretty
Yeah?
fun. Lots of local guides coming from everywhere. Lots
Isn't
of
it
different
great?
languages.
We have 100 guides coming together. That's quite a party.
Yeah, absolutely. Big party. Big
Guides
party.
are,
It's really nice.
when you get a lot of guides in the same room, there's
Yeah.
plenty to talk about.
Absolutely. It's fun to hear those languages.
Gregoire, tell us, you're with the French tour
Yes.
group. We have 40 different itineraries. We have 150 different guides or something like that. Do you have many of the French guides here downstairs?
Yeah, there's like
Who else there?
5 or 6 of us down there.
Who are some of the French guides that we have?
We have the father and son team, Richard
Oh,
and
yeah,
Patrick
Richard
Vidal.
and Patrick Vidal. Yes,
Absolutely,
father and son.
down
I just
there.
met Richard.
Yep,
That's
we have
really
Janet
fun.
from there also.
Yeah, and
we have Axel. He's
yeah,
like doing the
yeah.
French tours.
Is Veronique here yet?
Yes, Veronique is
Veronique is
there.
and
Absolutely
that's
lovely
great.
person.
And what tours do you do, Gregoire?
I do the Paris tour, 7-day Paris tours.
Uh-huh.
I do the French My Way. I do the Alps
Yeah.
My Way
Oh,
also.
good, yeah.
And soon the Europe 21 days.
Oh, good for you.
Yes,
Well, thank you for
I'm
flying all the way
excited.
from France to our party.
Yeah, thank you
And,
for inviting us. It's a
Today
great
was our first
opportunity.
day, and we've got all week long, we're going to be learning here and having fun at the same time. Hey, Gregoire sent us some photographs, and we're going to take a look at these, and Gregoire is going to be our tour guide, and we're going to see what we can learn from that. We're going to talk about Quiberon and the islands, crepes, and whatever that is, Queen Maman, and walking menhirs. All right. So what is this?
So this is, it's kind of cheesy, but this is kind of my hometown.
Really?
And you know when you travel,
Yeah.
that's when you start appreciate your
I wondered why
hometown.
we were going to have this on this talk
Absolutely.
today.
So this is a presqu'île, which means almost island, and that's where I grew up.
Almost Island.
Absolutely, it's a beautiful place. I really like it.
yeah.
And it's really, it's about 4 hours train ride from Paris.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit hard to get to, but it's really rewarding once you
This
get
is
there.
way out in the west.
Absolutely west. It's in Brittany on the west coast, in the south of Brittany, in
Yeah.
the Morbihan region.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really nice. It's a busy place during the summer,
Yeah.
but it's mostly French.
But you
tourists.
find this dramatic scenery on the far west
Absolutely.
in Brittany, huh?
And since it's Amos Island, we get lots of different scenery. So here you're on the west coast, which get most of the wind, much of the big waves, so you can get like rugged.
So is that the word for a
spots.
peninsula? We say peninsula.
Peninsula? Yes.
And you say
Presqu'île,
and you say almost island.
if I had to translate it.
And what is
yes.
it exactly?
Presqu'île means
So
almost.
almost île is an island. So
Yeah.
almost island.
Almost
That's a
island.
good word. Yeah.
Almost
I
island.
interrupted you. What are we looking at here?
So here we're looking on the west coast. So that's the coast that's receiving lots of big waves. So it's really
Yeah.
rugged
Oh,
stones.
wow.
And this is on the other side, for example. But
Little
that's
re-
where you
little
get
beach
like little
resorts.
beach resorts. Where you get,
Nice.
of course,
That's
the lighthouse in the middle,
Yeah,
sitting on
yeah,
the
yeah.
sands,
Oh.
long sandy beaches. Lots of
love it.
people is really famous there, but it's mostly French people. So
Yeah,
if you
because I
get
don't
there-
think of many Americans going to the
No,
beaches of
no, 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 no.
Brittany.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's
we
mostly
all,
French
you know,
people.
we go to the French Riviera.
Absolutely.
And you guys go
Absolutely.
to
If you
Brittany
get there, I guarantee you, like, maybe it's the only American.
And
who's
what
gonna
you'll
be
find
there.
is some good crepes.
Absolutely, crepes. So
Now
crepes-
are you a Briton?
Yeah, I'm from Brittany. Yeah,
So
I
there
grew
you
up.
go. So now when you say crepes, you know what a good crepe
Yeah,
is.
I know what a good crepe is, but you shouldn't call crepe. If you ask for a crepe, you're gonna get a
That's
sweet
right.
crepe.
Oh, my
So you
big
need
mistake.
to ask for to start a galette.
Galette.
Galette or savory crepe. So
Okay, so
it's
that's a
buckwheat
savory
flour. That's what you're seeing
Okay,
right
so
here.
the galette would be the savory part of the meal, and then you'd have the
Absolutely. And
crepe for the
at
dessert.
Exactly. So the main one, the one you want to have, is a complete. That's a staples of Brittany. So it's a buckwheat crepe with eggs, ham, and cheese, and a little bit of salad on the side. And then after that, you can have your sweet crepe. So you can
Now,
have your crepes.
to me, a crepe or a galette, I mean,
Yeah, galette.
it's with a buckwheat. You said.
Yes, it's buckwheat flour.
It's almost like a pizza. You have many different toppings.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if you could think of it on a pizza, you could think of it on a galette.
Absolutely, you can like transfer the pizza
Yeah.
toppings to that galette, but the
Okay.
complete is the main one.
But in
because
Britain,
that
you must
complete.
know what the good galette place is.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
What
Yeah,
makes a
yeah.
good galette?
You need to have like crispiness of
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and you need to let the dough proof, for example.
Yeah.
That's why you get all those little bubbles you can see around
I
the
see that.
pictures.
I mean, I
So
don't.
the
I
more-
didn't know that, but I know a galette with bubbles is.
the
something you
longer
look for.
it ferments, the better the taste. If you just put like water in flour and you taste it right away, it
Yeah.
doesn't taste like nothing. But if you
look
let
at
it
that.
ferment, and this is kuyaman. So kuyaman, it's from in Britain, Brittany language means butter cake.
Butter. Well, it looks like that looks like a lot of butter and
It's
a lot of cake
lot
there.
of butter, and with bread dough, it's layered of butter, bread, and sugar.
I like
if
it.
you can think about this, a kind of a croissant steroids.
Ah!
So that's absolutely, it's crispy, the
good.
caramel, like the sugar caramelized on the top in the oven, and then you bite on it, it cracks, and then it's really melty in the center. It's absolutely delicious.
I just love the way you French guides talk about food. It's just like,
yeah.
oh baby, you
Oh,
know,
it's
baby.
so good. I really like
Oh,
it. And I know
baby.
my bakery.
Men here.
Many. So
Tell us about these things.
So menhir are like a stone set up upright by the Celtic people about 2,000 years before the first pyramid was built. And you just can just walk around it. We don't know why. What was the purpose of those stones?
This is like the same age as Stonehenge. isn't
Absolutely,
it? Yeah.
exactly the same as Stonehenge.
So
Looking-
5,000 years ago or
Absolutely,
something.
yeah, something like
As
this,
old as
yeah.
the oldest
Yeah,
pyramids.
absolutely. So this is a town next to it in Skarnak. That's the biggest alignment.
Yeah.
But on my presqu'île, there is a few. So that you can just walk around and look at it.
They're all
Some
over the
line-
western end of Paris,
Absolutely,
of France.
all
You've got
over.
these, yeah.
Generally, they're in line or in circles.
So they must have had something in a line, in a circle. They must have known something.
Yeah, they know something. They had a purpose for it. We don't know what it is. So it's kind of a little mystical.
Very
So that's what I like to do. But one thing also that's good to do in that region is do island hopping. This is the town of Belle-Île-en-Mer, the island of Belle-Île-en-Mer, which translates to pretty island in the sea. And it's a 45-minute ferry ride. And it's absolutely beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
And
so-
look at that. That's an old star fort.
That's not that far from Vauban. It's a citadel. So that was made for.
Look at that. Let's just talk, forget about the garden
Yeah.
and the beautiful stuff. Let's talk military fortifications here. You got the star fort, and with the star fort, you cannot attack a star fort without being exposed by some angle,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. The angle makes it really difficult to attack.
And this would have been during the age of, after cannons are here, because the walls are not tall and skinny, they are stout.
Yeah, it's really
fat,
stout. And you can see they're filled in with dirt. That means they're
Yeah.
absolutely really thick.
because of cannonballs to pummel it.
Absolutely.
And then you've got a fortified port where the people can restock the fort in a garrison town there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the center of town. So the port and the center of town are one thing. So when you go there, it's really enjoyable to go to the market. The
love
fishermen will just go fish in the
love
morning and
it.
you'll be able to get your
Love it.
fish. And this island is really known for its colorful houses. They are really painted colorful houses. Generally, most of the time, it will be around the windows. They will do some colors. It's absolutely beautiful. I really like
Beautiful.
this.
And this is,
And this is one of the other islands. That's kind of my favorite one to go to. It's
yeah.
called Edik. It's an hour and a half, but it's really worth it. It's about 2 miles by 1 mile wide.
hour and a half what?
Yeah, No,
By boat?
by ferry boat.
Small population.
Small population. I think there are like 100 people living there by year. But they
Nice.
get everything you need. You just need to have a grocery stores, they have restaurants, they
Perfect.
have little.
Wow. And what is the name of the island again?
Edic, so it's Hoedic.
Hoedic.
And if you go there, you can guarantee you're going to be the only American.
Yeah, I bet.
And there is lots of little creek like this. It looks absolutely fabulous.
Looks.
It's all like the main things to do. It's like swimming. It
I
never
love
gets
it.
hot,
Right.
but it's also a great place.
Nice. Oh, Gregoire, such good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It is.
Now you're married to a woman that's worked with us.
Absolutely.
And your wonderful wife. Tell us what she does for work.
Yeah, now she's food styling. So
Yeah.
she works for TV commercials and she basically put makeups on tomatoes. So when you see a good food that looks really good and you open the real things, it doesn't look that good, it's because of her.
Because of a food stylist.
Yeah, because of food stylist. went
So in
there.
France, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose everywhere that's the thing. But in
Absolutely.
France, you know how to make food look good
Yeah.
for the advertisement.
Absolutely.
And that's what Marie
so
does.
that's what she does.
Nice. Hey, Ben, do you have a couple of questions for our, let me just get rid of this. And a couple of questions.
Oh, yeah.
for Gregoire.
You know it, Rick and Gregoire. Kathy would like to know if the Olympics have impacted travel in Paris and in France. What would you say to that?
Well, not much. Actually, I took the public transportation to go to the airport to come here in Edmonds, and it was absolutely fine. I was worried that it was going to be difficult, but if you don't go around the Seine, it's pretty easy still to go to the airport or go to your destination. So only the metro station right under the Seine River or along the Seine River are blocked off, but you can just get to the following station. It's just like a few minutes away to get to your place you need to go. So I'll say no, it's pretty fine to go through.
Very good. Tracy is curious what your favorite day trips from Paris are other than Versailles.
I can give you another chateau is go to Fontainebleau. Actually,
Fontainebleau,
Fontainebleau,
that's- yeah.
I'm not far from it, and it's absolutely a really pretty town. It kind of looks like a small Paris without the crowds.
And if you like Napoleon,
If you like Napoleon, which was
if
kind of
you
his
like
own
Napoleon,
based.
you like Fontainebleau.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, I love the Napoleonic collection at Fontainebleau. That was a good answer away from Versailles.
that
There's
was a good
alternatives to Versailles.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, people complain about the crowds, but there's
Yeah,
a
it could be
very
really
easy
crowded.
solution to the crowds. Don't go there.
I like this.
Don't
I like
go
this.
there.
I like this.
You're all about
Yeah.
places that have no crowds.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Europe is full of places with no crowds. You could do a whole trip and never be in a crowd. And you'd probably have a better time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
also, do you see this sign up on the top? Where is it? Up here it says Budget Travel by Rick Steves. That was on our very first sign of our business way back when I was a kid. And it was all about budget travel. And I just love having that because it reminds us of our backpacker roots. But the beautiful irony is when you leave the crowds, you have a better time, you waste less time, and you spend less money.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many places that don't have the demand. But the places with all the demand, they can charge whatever they want. And they don't need to give you good cups.
Absolutely. I went
not good
recently to
galettes.
Fontainebleau Castle, and it was so enjoyable. I was the castle for myself, and they have a great audio guide. That's absolutely amazing. And
That's
it's just
great.
great.
Do you have one more question for Gregoire?
I do. Susan asks, with so much butter and sugar, as you've shared with us, how do the French stay so trim and thin?
We
This
walk
is
a
the
lot.
question.
We walk a lot. We do use a lot of public transportation. So every time we get dropped off, we still have to walk some places. So it's lots of stairs going up, lots of walking to the place you need to go. It's mostly we're really active.
If I may interject, I have been working to get a little bit of our beautiful town traffic free.
Yes, I saw that. And I think it's a great
I
idea.
think it's a great idea too. But if anything I propose in my little community, which I love dearly, I've lived here ever since I was a kid. It was right there, up there is my junior high school. When I was 12 years old, I went up there.
Okay.
I haven't gone very far. But if there's anything I could help my town do to get it a little bit better, it'd be to have a pedestrian zone just
That would be
around our
great.
fountain, 5th and Main, one block on either side. But you know what people say? No, we have to be able to get our car immediately in front of that shop. The shop owners say that, and the people say that.
Yeah, lots of people will say that, but once they will have it, they will enjoy it so much. They will realize like, we'll never go back to have a driving road there. We'll have to stay.
It's probably the same dynamic in Europe. I think a lot of merchants are nervous if you can't get the car there, but then they realize, hey, in the morning you've got the access for the service cars and everything.
And absolutely, I think it's going to attract people. People are going to go, I'm going to go downtown because I can walk anywhere and I'm not worry about traffic. I'll get my family and my kids and be able to walk down there safely.
You know, with guides like you, and this is part of our mission, we expose Americans to alternatives.
Yes.
We know that if you leave your home and you look at it from a distance, you can learn about your own home, how you can make it a nicer place.
Travel is really important to do. Yeah, travel, open your mind, and then you take the best part of every country you're going to see and bring it back home. And if you can do that, your place will just be better.
I want to go on one of your tours.
Yeah.
What company do you work for?
A little company called Rick Steve. I don't know if you know them.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I'm very
Nice
happy
guy.
travelers.
He's a nice guy.
Gregoire, thank you. I'll see you
Welcome,
downstairs.
welcome.
Enjoy the party.
Thank you very much. Bye, and keep on traveling, guys.
Speaking of far, we have the guide who's come the furthest.
Oh, lolly.
Hello, merhaba, merhaba,
Merhaba.
merhaba.
Thanks, Lisa.
Welcome.
Ciao, Gregoire. Lolly, it's beautiful to see you, and you are looking gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
Woo!
Do you want me to tell you what I'm wearing?
Well, first of all, tell us where you're from.
I am from Istanbul, Turkey.
In Turkey. And you know, I just am so thankful for you and all of your guides that give us this wonderful dimension of our tour program, Turkey. And we trust you and your husband, Tan, to monitor the quality and make sure our tours are safe and well-designed and efficient and culturally fascinating and expanding. So tell us what you're wearing. This is great.
This is a traditional Turkish wedding dress.
Nice.
It's about 130 years old.
Oh my goodness.
It is silk and these silver threads.
130.
Yes, and Turkish wedding dress was never white. It was always colored because that's the first time that a young girl could dress
I
flashy
want to make
and
sure
nice.
people can see your dress.
Do you
There
want
we
me
go.
wait
Yeah.
stand up?
No. You're good there now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And our wedding gifts are always gold. We don't have a wedding list, a gift list, so people give gold to the couple that is getting married. So that would be something for them to save and use for their needs in the future.
Okay.
And this is why I'm wearing these now.
Nice.
And gold coins are the most typical gifts.
Yeah.
And here is what I have for you.
Is this chocolate or
Yes,
gold?
it is chocolate.
Actually, I'm happy with the chocolate too. This is nice. Oh, thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Lolly. So, I had the great joy of spending a week in Istanbul just last year, and every day I had a different guide, one of your colleagues, and I was so impressed with Istanbul. It's an amazing city that you know so well and are so passionate about sharing.
It is very culturally stimulating. It's very sensory.
Yeah.
It is very diverse. And it is very difficult to generalize things, Istanbul. It's very dynamic.
Yeah.
Yes, it is very stimulating.
And it's like 15 million people or something.
Or
like-
more.
Or more.
Because there has been some time since we had the last census.
That's right. And it's Europe and Asia coming together.
Yes.
And it is kind of a model in some ways of what a Muslim country can be in an age of pluralism and so on.
Exactly.
Tell us about that, because a lot of countries are their democracies are fragile and they're threatened. I was just in Morocco and I asked my friends there, why do you have a king? Wouldn't you want to be a democracy? And they said, well, we don't want to be like Syria, because if they threw out their king, they would have a very difficult time and they would be torn apart like Syria is today. That's kind of a reality. But Turkey has long been an alternative where you have had pluralism and a separation of mosque and state and so on. What's the latest in Turkey?
Well, we had that difficulty that your Moroccan friend, told about at the end of the World War I. And we got out of it through our excellent leadership, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, who carried Turkey to a century ahead. And yes.
So he moved Turkey from the Middle Ages into the modern ages, kind of skipping
exactly.
all the revolutions
Exactly.
almost. Yeah.
And what, as a woman, I'm most proud of out of things he did is the rights that he recognized for women.
Yeah.
Turkish women were among the first in Europe, among the earliest in the world, to to be able to vote and to be voted for the office.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, that's and to this day, women in Turkey defend their civil
Yes,
liberties
they
and their
do.
rights and
Yes,
so
they
on.
do.
You know, one of Lolly takes a wonderful 13-day Best of Turkey tour around for us, and it's a very popular tour. If there's one tour in our program that I wanted all of my loved ones to go on, it's this. It's your Turkey tour that you do with us.
I'm really proud of it.
You should be. And one of my favorite stops is the Ataturk Mausoleum in Ankara. When you go there, it is really a chance to celebrate how visionary Ataturk was 100 years ago and what he did for Turkey.
It's pretty incredible what he did.
I get emotional just thinking
Me
about
too.
it.
Me too. Because Rick, if I can choose at my own will, free will, if I could get an education, such as the male could, it's all because of his vision.
Yeah.
And that's a huge gift he had given to our nation.
Thank God for Ataturk. He is an amazing guy.
Yes, and somebody said, thank God for Ataturk and thank Ataturk for all the rest.
That's really good.
Yes.
Hey, I could talk with Lolly forever, but Lolly has given us a few photographs, and we're going to take a look at these right now, and we're going to have some fun hearing about backdoor Istanbul, about baklava, kebabs, and mulama, and the Bosporus fishing. Oh,
Okay.
cool. All right. So, this is when I was with you. We were on a
Yes.
dolmuş going
Yes.
between two cities in Asian Istanbul.
Yes, and this is an experience I suggest every traveler to go for.
I should remind people that you and I, essentially, and your husband, Tan, co-authored this Istanbul book
Yes.
of ours. And I'm so thankful for the work that you guys have done to it, because our Istanbul book is the best-selling book in the United States for going to Istanbul because of your passion and expertise. And we give experiences in there, like how to get on this dolmuş.
That's true.
Tell us how a dolmuş works.
It's a shared taxi. I want to start with the word of it. Dolmuş means stuffed.
Yeah.
In the earlier days, when we did not have metros or buses or ferries as lines as frequent as today, people used to pack dolmuşos.
Lolly, I don't know if I ever told you, but when I look at this, I see, where's the dolmuş here? Because it's not as stuffed and chaotic.
No, not anymore.
When
It's
I was a
illegal
kid-
to
yeah, I
ride them
bet it is.
standing up at the moment, not in the past.
Well, when I was a kid, they would take the windows out and people could crawl in through all the windows at different stops. And I would have some kid on my
Lap?
and I didn't know who the kid was, but there's room for a buddy. It's going to be in there, and I would go dolmuş. And he would
Yes,
go,
yes. So
dolmuş.
that's why they're called dolmuş. We still call them dolmuş. They're very practical.
Oh, they
You
are.
don't need a ticket or a card to ride them. You pay the driver directly. They can stop. They have designated routes, and they can stop to let people off and get on. So it's easy, fast, inexpensive.
I love it. Halfway between a taxi and a bus. What's going on here?
People are enjoying the coastline on Asia, overlooking Europe. Most people are facing towards the old town and watching the old town skyline. And this is another experience I recommend people to go for. See, Old Town Istanbul is very attractive. It was the capital city of the Ottomans, capital city of the Byzantines, a magnificent, glorious capital city for centuries. But to appreciate its beautiful skyline, you have to get away from it.
Yes,
You don't see it once you are in. And the best place to do it is across the Bosphorus. You take a ferry across the Bosphorus. It gives you an international trip, very pleasant.
So it's an international cruise.
It's an international
from one port to the
cruise.
next for like $2 or $1 maybe.
Less than $1.
Less than $1. You
and
can go
about
from your
20
place.
minutes.
I love it. In fact, I think I had 7 days working with every day a different guide, and you were with me the day I did Asia.
Yes.
Weren't you? Yeah. So you and I worked on this walk and the views and the ferries and the dolmuş and the food. It's a very important day when you're in Istanbul to go to Asia. What's going on here, Lolly?
This is before every Best of Turkey tour starts. You know that most of our travelers arrive Istanbul a day or two early.
Right.
And if people do arrive a day or two early, I make myself available to them.
Yep.
And we do a foodie walk.
Yeah.
I take them out, me or one of our guides, we take them out of the center of the city. We cross the Bosphorus, we go to Üsküdar on the Bosphorus. taste different foods, but it's not only about food. Food is very important to understand the culture, but it's also important to get out of the touristy core, city center, and see where people live and how they live. And the other thing I love to explain is, Rick, well, Turks drink tea, but they don't know why Turks drink tea.
Okay.
See, these are the things, cultural insights I love to share. So this photograph was taken during such a day. We are having breakfast on a Bosphorus front cafeteria.
Yes, right on the water.
Right on the water.
Looking out at Europe from Asia.
Yes, exactly.
And you're having some tea? What are we having there?
We're having tea.
Coffee? Turkish coffee?
This is Turkish coffee. So
yeah.
this photograph was taken at the end of the breakfast. If
the
it
end
was
of-
during the
okay.
breakfast, it would be tea.
Very nice.
And let me teach you the word for breakfast.
Okay.
Breakfast in English is consisting of two words, break and fast. So such as Turkish word for breakfast. Kahvaltı is the Turkish word for breakfast.
Kahvaltı.
But it's the two words that make it as kahve and altı. Kahve is coffee. Altı means pre-coffee. So we have breakfast for sake of having coffee afterwards.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not what you eat and drink. Yes,
No.
it's important to know them, but to
you're
know the
heading for the
historical
coffee.
facts
Yes.
and the cultural facts. That's what's
You know what?
make the day special.
When I'm
experience
in Turkey, and I love a Turkish breakfast because it's got cucumbers and olives and all sorts of watermelon and lots of things that we would normally have at our breakfast. And I love this, maybe it's a romantic idea, but I just love the idea that Muhammad, 1,200 years ago, 1,300 years ago, broke his fast with an olive in the morning.
Yes.
And I have an olive and I think of Muhammad. I do that even in the United
That
States.
is so nice.
Yeah.
Yes, olive is.
It's a beautiful way to break your fast. An
Yes,
olive.
it is.
I don't know why, but there's
Yeah,
something about eating
yes.
an olive.
We call it the eternal fruit.
Yeah,
We have used its oil for centuries.
yeah.
We used it for lighting. We used it for heating. It's the eternal fruit.
There's something.
And olive oil doesn't go bad.
There's something about olive oil, the heritage, and it weaves together the cultures of the Levant. I think we call
Yes,
it
the Levant. We call it the Levant.
Eastern
Yes.
Mediterranean. So Lebanon, Palestine, Syria, Turkey. Israel. You name
Yes.
it. Olive oil.
Eastern Europe.
Olives.
Eastern Mediterranean. Yeah,
It's
exact-
woven into
exactly.
the DNA of the culture and the
Exactly.
people. Whoa. Ooh, tell us about this.
Talking about Turkish food, many people, the first thing that people's mind come to people's mind is kebab and baklava.
Yes.
But there's more to Turkish food than kebab and baklava. Istanbul is a Black Sea city.
Okay.
It's not Mediterranean. It is not Middle Eastern.
And I've never heard you say that. So it's got that Black Sea culture,
Yes.
the sea between Ukraine and Turkey, is that right?
Yes, yes.
So you got Romania, Ukraine, Turkey,
Bulgaria.
yeah.
Yes. And Georgia, Republic of Georgia.
That's right. Mhm.
And so it's a Black Sea city, and
Yep.
it makes sense that tour members, our travelers, taste some of that food that is typical of the Black Sea coastline. And this is one of them. Kale grows wild and everywhere along the Black Sea coastline.
That's kale, huh?
That is kale.
Well, that's good looking kale. I got to say, there's a lot of kale that does not look very appetizing to me, but that, I could eat that.
These are kale rolls.
Right.
Kale rolls, they're stuffed with, or they're rolled. There is rice, meat, onions, and spices in it.
Oh, baby.
And topped with
And
yogurt
it's
and
a
tomatoes.
pity if some American tourist never gets out, orders adventurously. You've got to risk ordering something you might not like. You got to trust that
It's
the
okay.
local
If you
people
don't
love
like it, you won't finish it.
That's right.
That's- you take
it's
a
no
bite and
problem.
see.
Yeah.
Exactly,
But you
exactly.
got to be adventurous in your eating. Oh, what do we have here?
And that is muhlama. That's also a Black Sea specialty.
Look at that.
From the Black Sea coastline of Turkey.
Yes.
And there is corn flour, there is butter, there is cheese, and they're all melted in the pan. And you dip your bread like you would dip in a
Oh, it's like a fondue.
Yes,
So
it's a
Turkish
Black Sea-
fondue.
and we call it muhlama.
Muhlama. I'm so glad that you offer this little day experience before the tour or after the tour, because the tour is pretty much bam, 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 bam. We're seeing all the
Yes.
most important sites
Yes.
and the basic
Yes.
stuff. But if you have the luxury of a day where you're not driven to see the famous places, you can get into the culture.
Exactly.
Ah,
Exactly.
that's important. Ooh, this looks sweet and nice.
This is an unusual dessert. It is a very old recipe. It is shredded chicken breast pudding served with cinnamon. And see those strings hanging down from the spoon? They're
Yeah.
chicken breast. There's
Oh.
actually real chicken
Oh,
breast in
chicken
it.
breast in it.
It
Ah,
is. It's just not the name. It is. There
but
is
it's
chicken.
sweet. It's a
It is
it's-
sweet.
it's a
It's
sweet.
delicious. There's a texture to it. It's
Yeah.
light, easy to eat.
It's on my list.
Yes.
Remember
And-
next time I'm in town.
Sure.
Please, please, please. Okay, what do we got here?
That's a tour member fishing off the Bosphorus. And this is another experience tour members, travelers can try if they have the
I
time.
love it.
Istanbulites are quite resourceful. During nice days, along the Bosphorus, you can see business people appear with their vans. They rent fishing gear, so you don't have to come with your fishing gear.
Is that right? So
Yes.
a tourist can find one of these vans and for a
Exactly.
few bucks they've got
Exactly.
their wow.
Exactly. Just for the fun of
Just
it.
for the fun of
watching
it.
a different continent, mixing with the locals.
And then after that you could develop
Feed the
your
cats.
story about how feed the cats with
Feed
what
the
you
cats,
caught.
mhm.
And then you can go to a little nargile shop and do the suck on a hookah
Exactly,
if you want to.
rest and-
take a little rest with the local people. There's so much to see and do and experience. When you have a good guide, I'll tell you, you're going to get more out of your time. That's important. Hey, Ben, do we have some questions from our audience for Lali?
Yes, indeed. Michael would like to know, Lolly, how do you pronounce Turkey nowadays? Do you say Turkey? Do you say Turkiye? Could you set that straight for us?
Of course, we always say Türkiye. The name of our country is Türkiye, Turkiye, Türkiye.
And I should mention,
And it
that's
means
the-
land of the Turks.
if you agree that a country should be called what the people call it themselves, that is the correct name for Turkey. I don't believe that. I am thankful that there are different languages for saying different places. We are Estados Unidos to the Spaniards, right? Germany is Tedesco to the Italians. It's Aleman to the French. It's Germany to us. And it's conceivable that a German who lives in Berlin would not know any of those words because their country is Deutschland. So is it correct to say Deutschland? No, that's what the Germans call it, but Germany is correct also. Having said that, it's really fun to know that Turkiye, if you want to say that in Turkey,
Yes, that's the- yes.
that's the local way to
Turkiye,
pronounce
exactly.
the beautiful country. Nice. Another question.
Lolly, where do you vacation in Turkey?
That's a good question. Vacation for me is traveling because what I say is that with each travel, I change. I become a different person, a bigger person. My horizons get bigger, broaden. So I feel myself like a silkworm coming out of a cocoon at the end of each trip.
Oh, that's
Like
beautiful.
I start as one person and I come back as two people from a trip. Travel is so enriching.
And thanks to you and 150 other guides, most of them who are downstairs right now having a party, we are thankful that we can take 30,000 Americans to Europe every year. And with the help of your guiding, they can be like the coming out of the cocoon and to becoming a different person.
Yes, that's the way I
when
see
they
it.
fly home.
But just to take a rest, do nothing, there are two places special to me. They are Cappadocia and Ayvalık.
I was going to ask you about Cappadocia because you and I both love Cappadocia, and you've got a
Yes.
wonderful hotel in Cappadocia that you and Ton manage.
Yes.
And what is the other place?
Ayvalık.
I don't know that.
It is north of Izmir on the Aegean coastline.
okay.
It is very close to where the beauty contest that Homer told in his epic took place near Mount Olympus.
Nice.
There's this beautiful wind coming from the mountains.
Yeah.
It's dry. It's on the coast and it's dry. No humidity.
It just occurred to me because that rings a bell. I'm going to be interviewing you in a couple of days, and the topic is the Aegean coast.
Okay, that's
So that's
the
what's going to be
yes,
on there. So we're going to learn about that. I've got
So-
it's such a joy for me as a radio host. I've got all of these wonderful guides in town, and I've got 26 interviews lined up in the next 4 days. 26 interviews. I just did 4 of them before we came here for this Monday Night Travel. And we're going to be sharing the expertise and the passion and the inspiration of our guides far and wide, thanks to public radio. And Lolly, I can hardly wait to talk with you on the radio in a couple of days. I can hardly wait to join you again in Turkey. And please, when you go back to your beautiful homeland, give our best wishes to all of the other guides that work with you. And
I
show our groups
definitely
around.
will.
Yeah.
They're here with us in spirit.
All right. Lolly, thank you so much. And
My pleasure.
Thank you for the gold doubloon.
Well, you're going to eat my dowry.
I'm going to eat your dowry. I'm going to eat your dowry. All right. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
All
Rick,
right.
my pleasure.
And I'll see you downstairs when the,
Yes,
when the
okay.
party gets going,
All
okay?
right. Have
Take
fun.
care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Gule gule.
Hoşça kal.
I can say gule gule. That's
Hoşça
what
kal.
when you're staying somewhere and somebody's leaving in Turkey.
And I say hoşça kal.
Hoşça.
Okay.
Oh, I got to remember that one too.
Bye.
Gule gule. All right. Hey, Ben, that was so much fun.
It was a delight. Lolly is remarkable, Rick. isn't
All
she?
of these guides were just so fun, and they're all happy to be here, and we're happy to be hosting them. It's just great. And wow, lots going on. That was exhilarating for me. That's the joy for me, is to get to know our guides better. Hey, I did want to give a little word for our sponsor tonight before we say goodbye. And I want to remind people that we're working so hard to help our travelers better understand our tour program. We know very well that for a lot of people, our tours are really wonderful. And for a lot of people, they are a miserable vacation. And we got to advertise and explain our tours in a very candid and straightforward way, so people get on our tours who will enjoy and appreciate our tours. You can see the passion of our guides tonight. We've just met 6 of them, and they earn their living taking all of us around Europe and just turning us on to their cultures in such a beautiful way. If that sounds like your kind of travel experience, boy, oh boy, have we got a trip for you. I want to remind you that we are going to have a special Monday night travel. It's going to be like a Thursday night travel, because it's going to put it on your calendar here, August 22nd. That's a Thursday. And it's going to be called Tours 101. Rick Steves Tours 101, FAQs by our tour operations staff. The question is a Rick Steves tour right for you? The question is, any question you got, we want to answer it. So that'll be just a fun little back and forth evening with our staff on the tour department, so that you can better understand our tours. You'll hear about it as we send out emails and so on. But once again, it will be August 22nd. That's a Thursday, a special edition of Monday Night Travel. I guess one more announcement I'd like to make is I've had so much fun with my Facebook page this last month, sharing all of the adventures I've had with people like Lolly and with Tomasz and like with Daniela and so on. And every day for the last month, we've had posts from my experience in the last year's travel. And I was just in Portugal and Germany, and that series will be starting very shortly. So if you're interested in any of those intimate behind-the-scenes reports, it's all on Facebook at Rick Steves on Facebook. All right, Ben, anything more from you?
That's all I have, Rick. I'll leave it to you to finish, because it can't be said any other way.
All right, well, I just want to say thank you for joining us. I'm going to go downstairs to that party, and we hope that you have enjoyed the last 75 minutes and visits with 6 guides to 6 different countries. Thanks a lot. Happy travels, and thanks for being part of our family at Monday Night Travel. Here's to you.
Thank you so much, Rick. Thank you to Federico, Lorraine, Tomasz, Daniela, Gregoire, and Lolly. And thank you, fellow Monday Night Travelers, for sharing our happy hour festivities with us. We look forward to seeing you next week. We have a special guest, Andrew Mortensen, who's going to talk about biking around the world. He actually essentially did that. That'll be on August 12th. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. See you next week.